Yeah, hi Shrikant.
Hi, 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 hi.
I'm sorry, I'm a bit late. I was
It's okay.
second. Give me a second. Yeah, Shrikant, I think I'm audible to you, right?
Yeah, audible.
Yeah. Yes, before we begin, I would like you to, brief about yourself and your work experience you currently have and what are the technologies that you have worked. Just brief about it, okay?
Yeah, I have been working since last 10 years in London Stock Exchange and
Okay.
in technologies like .NET and C Sharp language and SQL Server 2008 we have been using, and like as a backend developer I've been working on like console and Windows services with web APIs and double safe services and deployment process and requirement gatherings and bug fixes and production bug fixes and new changes and enhancements. All those things I have been working on that.
All right, all right. So, you overall, you said you have 10 years of experience, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay, is it the entire 10 years in .NET itself,
yes,
or
yes,
is
yes.
there any other technologies that, or front-end technologies that you think you?
Front end I used to work like since like last 7 8 years before one like project I have been working like
Mm-hmm.
MVC ASP.NET MVC I used to work for 1 year.
Okay.
After that for 1 year I have been working in WPF. I worked. That means
Oh,
time
WPA.
WPF.
Okay, okay,
After that I
okay.
moved to automation application like Windows services and all those stuff. So that I have been working since last 7 to 8 years.
Mm-hmm. So you also mentioned that you have experience in working with
Yeah,
microservices,
microservices. Yeah,
containerization, all
yeah,
that stuffs,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good to hear, Shrikant. So, also wanted to know, if you have any experience with handling teams or anything like that as of now.
Yes, team we have big team we have. So I have an experience
Okay.
with collaborating. We have like scrum calls and collaborating the team and all the stuff I used to work.
Okay. Okay. So, so where you're from, Shrikant, basically?
Basically, I'm from Odisha and staying work.
Odisha.
Yeah,
Okay. So
and
you stay here in Bangalore.
Bangalore, Bangalore.
Okay. Okay. So is there any issues you are relocating it to Mangalore or anything like that?
No, I don't have an issue like relocation because I'm staying alone, so I can move to anywhere. So that's
Okay. 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 There is no issues with you.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. A very high level I wanted to know about you. So before we begin, okay, so I would like to know. Okay, that is fine. Totally fine. I will begin with few of the .NET questions itself.
Yeah.
Okay, because this is a .NET
Yeah.
interview.
Okay. Okay.
So let's say uh, Shrikant, you think have you worked on any design patterns in your
Yes.
career?
Yes. Yes. I have
So,
been working.
any one design patterns
Yes.
can you explain me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in my project, basically factory design pattern is the most common design pattern
Mhm.
I'm using because as per our requirement, we are like data extractions we do from the files like HTML or PDF files. So basically,
Okay.
we'll get different countries, different
Hmm.
files will get. So for each file, it will have like different logics. Suppose it will.
Okay.
So basically, common logic will be there, but still there will be some extraction logic based upon the file type. So I used to use the factory design pattern. This basically is to create a parent class,
Hmm.
and all the child classes I inherit from those parent classes. And I used to create a
Okay.
factory class where I will pass the like the parameter as the country code, and according to the country code I'll initialize the child classes using parent class reference. So I'll
Okay.
return that variable, and using that there will be an extract method which is a virtual method used to in the
Hmm.
create in the parent class, and I used to
Hmm.
override it into the child class, so that any new developer comes, if any new country they have to work, so they just
Hmm.
have to like add a new class child class in a different folder,
Hmm.
and only in the factory they have to add the country. With the country code they
Okay.
have to
Okay.
add and if condition they have to add just, and after that remaining things will be designed will be the same. So this is the
Okay.
advantage of like factory design pattern.
Factory design pattern. Okay. Okay. So, all right. So, any other patterns you
Yeah, yeah,
think you have?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like a singleton design pattern, most of the time I
Yeah,
use
very most common.
most
Yeah.
common
Right.
because whenever I used to create logger classes or else like config classes whenever I read it. No? So I used to
Mm,
create like because basically singleton design pattern is useful when we don't want to create multiple objects because that object is fixed, data is fixed.
right.
So
Right.
we don't have to create the instance each and every time we use it. So it consumes
Okay.
memory. So for these configuration classes and all, I used to create a single like singleton design pattern and instance it
Mm,
one time only I load it. So when
okay. Okay. Suppose, okay, Shrikant, I have a three layers. Suppose it is data layer and business layer, and then the presentation layer, UI layer, or something. Okay,
okay.
so these three layers completely it should be independent. So how do you think we should design our application? Any a very high level idea, if you know how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, basically we can like database layer we can make a separate project entity
Okay.
framework or something you can do or else some web API web service we can use it where in my case we have that one tier of service we use it which is a web
Mm-hmm.
service double save service all database operation no we use in that like entity framework is being used so Azure.NET also we can use in that and we can separately like decouple it any database queries or stored procedures we are calling no we can just pass
Mm-hmm.
the parameter to that and it will communicate with the web and with that URL web service URL we can communicate any database operations so from the business logic so and UI
Okay.
as it is a separate module we can make it out and we can
Right.
communicate so and
Mm-hmm.
all these modules we have like double C services deployed in a separate servers and we have applications are deployed in the separate servers and
Okay.
database is separate server.
Mm-hmm. Suppose if there is uh, too many loads, I mean server loads coming to the database layer or something like that, how do you think we should
So we have a load
uh,
balancer has been used. So
okay.
okay, that is one scenario. But in load balancer also we are facing recently faced some issues like it is why from the web service again it will go to the database. So
Right, right, correct.
there is a 30-second delay was happening. So what I suggested is that application and that service one instance of the
Mm,
service no will deploy in the same application server and we can communicate for that job so that it will be faster because application
okay.
server and the database server and service is on different servers so locations are
Right.
different maybe 30-second 40-second delay they don't want so I suggested for this instance in the same application server we can deploy the service also so that it will
Okay.
communicate
So
faster.
so you basically I mean scaled up using horizontally or vertically. So how did you scale up?
No, no. There are 10 services in 10 servers
Mm,
with a load balancer.
mm-hmm.
I suggested
Okay.
one service we'll use in application server, and that we are communicating to the load balancer URL. Okay, so
Okay. Right,
what
right.
I
Yeah.
suggested is one service will deploy in the same application server instead of load balancer URL. No, in the config file use direct service server URL.
Direct service URL. Okay. Okay.
Then it will become a little faster. So
Okay.
like that we have some solutions we can figure it out how
Okay, so why do you think that load balancer was taking 30 seconds
uh,
of time or anything
yeah
like that? Do
because
you?
from load balancer it will communicate to the servers maybe it will be waiting one service is already running so it might be waiting to be free or something so that part I am not sure why because it is like it is being deployed by the L2 support team so I didn't we had checked
Mm-hmm.
with them but we didn't get as per them it is not causing issue but we didn't know why it is so I just suggested
Mm-hmm.
a solution like this if it works.
Mm-hmm. So, how do you, I mean, manage these resources, Shrikant? I wanted to know, I mean, 'cause suppose you have a multiple resources, okay? So, you are running in a load balancer, okay? There are two
Okay.
systems. So, based on that, request will go to this one, this one. So,
Okay.
suppose if there is a resource which is missing, I mean, the next request goes to the other system. So, how do you handle these kind of issues?
Okay.
or let's say during the logging or anything like that, so your
Okay.
instance may switch in between. Okay,
Okay.
so that issues, have you ever faced that kind of issues?
Um, resource in the sense like because logs it will be logging in the particular server only, no, not like same server only. If it go to the
Right,
same server only, so logging
right.
logging it will not cause an issue. But
Mm-hmm,
resource in the sense like we have some files like from database will
mm-hmm,
fetch. Okay.
mm-hmm.
And while fetching the database we have like we have logic like org id or id, the file name ending with, so like file
Okay,
that files ending with 1 it will go to the server 1, server 2, like that I used to do long time back. After that started using load balancer. So load
okay,
balancer it will randomly it will send to the request to the like org ending with 1 means it will send to whatever resource is free.
mm-hmm,
But inside that I never faced any issue such issues, but only the
mm-hmm.
delay issue only recently faced. But resource issue means we have like common shared drives are there. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want to save anything, no, like file
Mm-hmm.
or token, or you want to save same thing you want to use, so shared drive we have some shared drive shared locations which all the servers can communicate with the shared drive. So
Okay.
that we can use it, common
Mm-hmm.
resources.
So let's suppose say you have millions of records, okay, which is in the Excel file or something like that.
Okay.
So you have taken all the data to one of the observable collection or list in the C
Okay.
sharp, okay.
Okay. Okay.
So now we are storing it to the database, okay. That millions of records.
Okay.
Suppose
Okay.
that records one by one it will insert to the database. It is taking a lot of time. Let's say it is taking 5 minutes of time. So how do you think we should optimize this?
Yeah, we can optimize it because I used to do all this database stuff like bulk insert. I used to do in .NET. We had this
Okay.
SQL bulk insert. So
Mm-hmm.
SQL bulk insert is a little bit faster,
Mm-hmm.
but instead of doing that, no, as I said, like 60 70 lakhs of records, so there will be like multiple issues will come. Like if you load that 60 70 records in a data set, okay, or data
Mm-hmm.
table, so out of memory
Mm-hmm.
exceptions also it might throw, because
Right,
so
right.
instead of loading into single data table, right, you can use like multiple data table, you can load it, and each
Mm-hmm.
data table in a multiple threads we can create parallelly. All those threads, like 10 threads, will ingest SQL bulk insert. It will do 10 data tables. So for that, like thread tool
Okay.
class also you can use. You can internally manage
Mm-hmm.
threads. So
Right, right,
that I
right,
used to do.
right.
Or sometime what I do, some cases, no, we have to fetch the records from one database and insert those records into another database. And those database servers are different servers, so SQL can't do. We have to write a .NET job and as a
Right,
Windows
correct.
service. Yeah. So in that scenario,
Mm-hmm.
what I used to do is fetch the database tables into data table in a SQL data adapter and
Mm-hmm.
insert into SQL bulk insert. But if records in recently I faced like 60 lakh records came, so it out of memory exception thrown. So what I
Mm-hmm.
did is instead of using SQL data adapter, no, I use SQL data reader. And in the data reader,
Okay.
one by one record I fetch, and 20,000 records I used to put it in a single data table. I
Okay,
bulk
okay.
insert I did it, so that it worked for me.
Mm. Okay, okay, okay. That is a great idea. Okay. All right. Used to get it to data table. Yeah, yeah. So suppose let's reverse this one. Okay, combination. So
Okay.
we are fetching the database from the database you said, and we are putting it to one more database. So I want to optimize that reading performance. So how do you think we should optimize that one?
Reading finish from SQL data reader reading performance. Okay.
Correct, correct. So you're doing it from the
Database.
probably you might use database using
Yeah.
entity framework or
Yes.
something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I wanted to see, I mean, how we can fetch the data faster or anything like that, optimize that database in order to
Okay.
get. You already said you might use the threading or something to insert. That is
Insert. Yeah.
really
That is.
good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we
Okay.
are fetching
Fetching.
the
Okay.
database.
For
Yeah.
fetching, you
Yeah.
are meant to say.
Any idea, you know?
For fetching means okay. Then for fetching, but then in database layer only we have to do some indexing or something, so that
Yeah,
we are
yeah.
we are
Okay.
running some query. So
Mm-hmm.
that query is taking time. Then in database level we have to do some indexing, so that it will be faster.
Okay.
Or else,
Mm-hmm.
like instead of like hitting the query, like select top 20,000 records or 10,000 records,
Mm-hmm.
then that will be faster maybe.
Okay,
But
okay.
anyways, if you are
Let
using data reader means it will read one by one only. So I don't think
Yes,
so.
one by one.
So
Yeah.
don't.
No, we cannot take multiple records, but anyways, so the indexing is one of the good
Yeah,
answer. I mean, I think.
yeah.
Uh, and also, suppose, let's say, let me give you one scenario. Okay, just wanted to see. I mean, how good you are at on the SQL side also. So, suppose I have a school records. Okay, which is having a table with the student name and student mark and the student class. Okay, so class might have class A, class B, class C, like that. It is stored inside rows. Okay.
In
So
a single row, it will be class A, comma class B, comma class C.
no, not like that. Suppose you're Srikanth. Okay, you are 90% score and class A. You belong to class A.
Okay.
Okay, I am Sampath, so I belong to class B.
Okay.
So there
Okay.
is a column called class. So
Okay.
you will
Class
have
A.
all the class A, class B, class
Okay.
C. Okay.
Okay.
Suppose I wanted to get the highest, I mean, score obtained by which class. So how do we get that actually? You have multiple students from the class A or something like that. So I wanted to
Class A.
get the highest score. Who scored it actually?
In
Which
class
class has
means
scored? Yeah, correct.
which class has highest score?
Highest scored. Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, highest score individual, right? Individual marks
It's not
or
individual. Suppose
combination.
you and me belongs to the same class, so it is.
Average.
I mean, in common, it's average. I should see. I mean,
Okay. Okay.
whether
Okay.
class A is better or class
Okay,
B
okay,
is
average.
better.
Okay,
Class
okay,
C.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Average. Then we have to create an average function we have to use. So
Mm-hmm.
group by the class column.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I guess. Or else we can use common table expressions also. That is
Okay.
also we can use. Or else group by function is one of the thing where we are like max of like or average of marks column and
Okay.
group by this like group by this column. I think it should work. If any other more conditions you want, then we can use common table expressions and
No,
okay.
we want to get the score. I mean, the average score of it. So how do you take that?
Yeah, means average score is percentage, right?
Yeah, it could be percentage. It's just a number.
Oh, it's a
It
number
doesn't
only.
matter. Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't matter.
Okay. 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 Then that same thing I'm saying. So select like average score and each for average score. No, if you are using any row number or something, no, in city expression or something. So row number will be 1, 2, 3. It will come.
Mm-hmm.
We can order by that row number. So descending means max with row number it should come whatever max row number. So like
Yes.
that something logic I can put it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a logic but
Okay.
syntaxes I have to try it out.
Mm-hmm. No problem. No problem. We will. I think we will move on to next question. So okay, in C Sharp itself. Okay, so let's say you're working for a banking application or something like that. Okay, so any application. So let's say you have a set of executions to be happen. Okay, in the database. Okay, let's say you have hundreds of records or anything like that to be inserted using C Sharp. Okay,
Okay.
so you will have everything which is in the transaction. Okay, so now, suppose let's say if I am not able to insert the 50th transaction or anything like that, I don't want it to insert. any single records of it. I should revert
Yeah,
that all,
the
whatever. Yeah,
rollback transaction is there. You can begin and rollback
right.
transaction. Begin
Okay,
rollback and commit. You can if anything any we can use try catch block and after that we can roll back that block.
rollback. Is there any other options you think we can use?
Other options I don't know.
Okay, 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 great. Okay, that's more about SQL. Let's say, Shrikant, you have given a team. Okay, so there are two developers who are working in the same this one. So I don't want you to, I mean, create multiple merge issues or anything like that. So how do you think we should avoid that things? So how we should architect that application?
I mean two developers are working on the same class,
Yeah, same
same class,
project.
same
Yeah,
project.
probably they're not working on a same class, or the entire project is handled by them. Okay, the now giving or allocating the tasks, it completely depends on you. So how do you think we should design our application so that the programmers who are working, they shouldn't have any merge conflicts or more of a commit problems? So how
Okay,
do we think we
I
should
think
design? Yeah.
separate like in Git separate branches we have to create and like developer
Okay.
wise branches we can create so that they'll be working on separately and
Okay.
they're pushing
So
into their own branches and later they
let's
can
say in code itself, so how do you segregate
okay
the, yeah,
code itself
the works, or how do you delegate the works?
okay.
I believe you got my question, right?
Yeah
So
like
what I'm
developer
expecting, yeah.
yeah but yeah the designs how the developer will work on separately
Yeah, correct.
module wise basically you have to create right like different modules you have to give different developer basically so
Okay,
you
okay,
can
great,
create
great. Yeah.
like separate story points or something like that so each one will be segregating like suppose you have
Mm,
a logging module so logging module will give to one developer and suppose API modules will be UI modules will be given to separate developer and database design
mm.
will be given to
Yeah,
separate
that makes one of the answer. Yeah, if they suppose they're working on a same module, so how do you
okay
think?
okay
Suppose, yeah, I'm working on a login or authentication module, so how do you think we should segregate the work?
logging modules basically hmm. Then that also we have to give task wise. We have to define which task contains which page, and suppose in one module two pages are there. So one page will be developed
Mm-hmm.
by one module, one developer, and another page will be developed by another. Like,
Okay,
so
great,
in that
great,
way
great.
only we can do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So each page
Okay,
contains okay. Each page contains what and all you have to define. So those things has to be done by that person. So if it
right.
is a API side, backend side means method wise you can create like this logic has to be developed by this developer and this logic can be developed by this developer.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. Mm, let's take another scenario. Okay, so let's say you have given a application, that is legacy application. So now currently you have the source code of the application, but you don't have anyone to help you with. Okay, so probably they might give you a high level KT or something like that. Now you wanted to dedicate it to developers who are here. Okay, so how do you think you should the legacy application, you should make it modernize? Okay, so how do you think, what steps we should follow in order to modernize that application? Suppose say it is developed in .NET framework. Okay, now we are moving into .NET core. So
okay.
what are the steps you think we should follow?
Yeah, first thing is I have to understand the logic. So
Okay.
that what I prefer first is I have to understand the logic in .NET framework itself. Then only I can move
Mm-hmm.
to like code. So,
Right.
so first of all, I'll try to get some bugs if there is any existing bugs and also that by fixing the bugs, I can understand the
Okay.
flow. So once I
Mm.
understand the flow, so I can move it to .NET Core. So that so I have to learn the .NET Core how the dependency injection how works. So suppose they have explicitly they have used some interfaces to dependency injection. So I'll remove that and add into startup class in .NET Core.
Mm-hmm.
All these things I have to do. So
Okay, so what other very high level, what do you think we should, I mean, more focusing on, or any things?
basically you have to separate project to create in .NET Core, and one by one I have to migrate. I have to re-implement that in that. So module wise module, which is independent modules. So
Okay.
those things I have to do that or move that. So
Mm-hmm.
better best option is to we have to write all the test cases for that in .NET framework itself. So that
Okay.
unit test cases will be independent module with hard coded values. So
Mm-hmm.
same thing I'll move to .NET Core. It will be easy. I have to re-implement that. So one by one.
Okay.
So
Shrikant, any idea what is use of .NET Standard library?
.NET Standard Library.
Yeah. So
Standard
you might
Library.
have seen .NET Framework and
Yeah.
.NET Core, and then there is .NET Standard. So what do you think? What is the use of it? I mean,
.NET Standard Library. I don't remember which one is.
okay, okay.
Maybe default libraries are standard libraries. Maybe I'm not sure. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure.
Okay, okay. Suppose uh, let's say we have a application, okay? So that application has the admin controller, okay? So only should be accessed by admins, okay? So how do you think we should segregate?
Okay. You mean to say only admin is accessing it?
Admins should be able to allow or access that controller, admin controller, not the regular users.
Okay. Then while while logging, no, like we we can use like some database. We can cross check like any username and password they are accessing. Right? We can put username password, and that username we can validate in the database whether it is admin or not. You can give
Okay.
some like column you can mention like is admin or not, or one
Mm-hmm.
admin table we can figure it out. One table we can create where these users will add there, so we can cross check
Mm-hmm.
some join queries we can use and check whether it's admin or not. So it's not
Okay, that
admin.
is going to be a lot of database operations. So
Yeah.
how do you think we should do it very simple way?
Okay,
Very, I
whether
mean,
is a desktop application or is a web
it is a
application.
web application. Let's say you have a MVC application.
Okay,
Okay, just
okay,
MVC
okay,
application. Yeah.
okay. So while they're logging, by logging you mean to say username password they're logging.
Yeah, username passwords they'll be logging in.
Okay. After logging, they want to like some button, some resource you want to restrict it.
Yeah, let's say it is not some buttons. Okay, so you have a MVC controller. So suppose if I logged in using a tokens of let's say not the admin, I'm just a regular user of the application. Okay, so I'm trying to access that controller using any API calls. Okay, so I
Okay,
shouldn't be able to access
okay.
that. Yeah.
Controller, basically the controller is access, right? Maybe some middlewares we can use. That
Mm-hmm.
before hitting controller, we can do some validations. So
Mm-hmm.
these users shouldn't be like using some logic. So that logic maybe comes from database or maybe but I'm not sure where I can add easy way is database. Otherwise, some local files. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
So maybe middleware is the best thing here to like validate.
What is middleware, Srikant? Any idea?
Yeah, basically before hitting the controller, no,
Mm-hmm.
the request when request comes to the controller before hitting the controller in some logic we want to run, so that comes into the middleware section.
Okay, okay, okay. So, uh, have you used any, apart from .NET, have you used any kind of third-party NuGets like this one implementations like RabbitMQ or any other stuffs have you used? So, what other technologies apart from .NET you know?
Third party I haven't used. Third party DL also
Mm-hmm.
used, but not like third party
Mm-hmm.
tools.
Mm-hmm. So, have you worked with RabbitMQ or Google Pubs
No,
or the messaging? So,
no.
you also worked with the microservices or anything like that? Do you have
Uh,
any idea?
yeah,
About
microservice.
microservice? Yeah.
Yeah, microservices are like applications are like microservices because each components are being deployed in different like servers.
Oh,
We have
great. Okay. So, let's say you have service A and service B in deployed in different servers. Okay. So, how do you communicate in between?
communication in the sense.
It's
So
obviously a basic question. You might know, right, Shrikant?
there
Let's
is a
say
post.
you have
You have a
yeah.
post request. They will like communicate where like I have an application which is double safe
Mm-hmm.
services, which is deployed
Mm-hmm.
in I have deployed in IAS, and it will communicate to another service, which is another teams. They will send us the JSON files by this
Okay.
service. So I have been like exposed that the contract service contract.
Let me give you one scenario, okay, to make your understanding more clear. Okay, so I have a user service and the account service. Okay, so the user service where the user gets, registered. The account service, let's say you have a bank. Okay, the account creation, all those stuffs happen in the account service. Okay, so now I am the user, so I logged into my system. Now user service is responsible for creating the authorization, authentication, all the stuff. So it is taking care. So once that is done, so I should have a communication between the account service to notify that I'm done with the user creation. Now go ahead and create the account for me. So how do we do that?
Okay, automatically you mean to say.
Yeah, correct.
Like that.
Obviously, you can make HTTP call from here to here, but that is going to be a very costly
Yeah, SLA calls.
service because it might take a lot of time. It might take a lot of time. So I don't
Yeah.
want to do that. Anything else that it
Okay.
can talk to.
Okay. Okay. Like that I haven't done, but automatically maybe from the backend only some trigger we have to put.
Okay.
That
Oh, one
way,
of the idea.
as soon as we will insert the records, no backend like some trigger we can
Hmm.
do it so that it will like
Okay.
it
I
will.
mean, you said it was a microservices. I thought you might know about the RabbitMQ or
No,
the
no,
Google
no,
Pubs.
no. Those things
Okay.
are
Any idea about gRPC services or gRPC calls?
gRPC. No, I haven't used gRPC. I have heard, but I
Okay.
haven't
So
used.
in your current application, these microservices, how do you, how do you deploy it and how do they interact? How it works basically?
Basically, we have like one of the double safe web services which is deployed in one of the servers, so IAS, and we
Okay.
have an URL. With that URL, post request to do from our applications. These applications are
Mm-hmm.
from different servers, so
Right.
direct post calls .NET HTTP request we send that. In that way, the
Mm-hmm.
database operations we do. For
Okay.
and we have to pass the parameters as SP names.
Mm-hmm.
So this way you used to do, or direct SQL queries or experiments used to pass that and used to do.
Mm, great. Yeah, that can be one. But I
Okay.
think using any of this
No, no,
messaging
no,
service,
no.
yeah,
That I haven't.
I
Because
think yeah, you that makes your life easier.
okay,
It just sends the protocol or the WebSocket messages to your other services that something happened. You should
okay,
take care of that.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Like that.
So something like that. Yeah. Probably you can research on
Research,
that
yeah,
once this. Yeah,
I will check.
probably. Yeah.
I will check
Yeah.
it.
So, any experience with the reporting services or anything like that you have used, Shrikant?
I mean SSRS, something like that.
Any reporting tool that I think, or you
Reporting.
might have done your own reporting service or anything like that.
Reporting, basically tools I haven't used, but reporting means we have some SPs and some views we used to use, and
Mm,
those things I used to run and send the reports as a mail in as a Excel sheet in a scheduler
mm-hmm.
in Windows Service. So
Okay.
that I used to do, but any reporting tools like SSRS I haven't done. So
Okay. Okay.
basically these are like SQL queries to use. So I have
Right,
I
right.
mean
Not
required.
everyone will get a chance to work with
Yes,
SSRS
yes,
or
yes,
anything
yes,
like
yes,
that. But
exactly, exactly.
yeah, correct.
We didn't have much
So,
requirement on those. So basically, whatever reports they want, they used to create those query. We have a database table. So
mm-hmm,
what reporting we used to use is we created I created a table, and
mm-hmm,
there I created few columns like email IDs, to, from, and the SQL query and the schedule intervals, like that.
okay.
So that
Mm-hmm,
content guys, they used to go insert a record
mm-hmm,
with the SQL query and what
okay.
interval they want and whom
Mm-hmm,
they want to send a mail. And
mm-hmm,
I have made a Windows service which will fetch this table, and a loop it
okay.
will fetch which query they have added. So I
Okay.
don't
Okay.
have to create multiple. They just add the query with a new record.
Mm-hmm,
Suppose 5
mm-hmm.
records means in the loop it will run like 5 threads, and it will.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like that
Okay.
reportings
So,
I used to send.
also, I wanted to know, I mean, very high level of your business domain, what it is actually, what are they into? I
It
mean,
is a
oh,
financial company, London Stock
okay.
Exchange. So we are like
Uh-huh.
extracting the financial data like balance sheet, income statement, and cash flow data from the HTML PDF files. So basically, you get the HTML files. My job is to like
Mm-hmm.
get the HTML files and extract those tables, and
Okay.
then
Okay.
format it and create a JSON or XML file. And
No.
after
Okay.
that, we have ingestion services running. So it will ingest
Mm-hmm.
with the store procedure or like some script. It will run and ingest those into the database.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me ask two last questions or one last question. I don't know how it goes,
Okay.
but I wanted to know. Okay, so do you have any workflows going on in your application? So any approval for the financial, this one, this guy has to approve this guy, and then there is a workflow going on, right? So anything like that you have.
Workflow. We have a workflow database.
Mm-hmm.
Like I will give you the last project. I don't know whether you are
Mm-hmm.
asking about that or not, but I'll explain.
Mm-hmm.
Workflow means in our application there is a workflow database with this
Yeah, okay.
workflow. Like suppose you have an API where we'll
Mm-hmm.
send. I'll send a file to a third party API where you're
Okay.
generating, and they will
Mm-hmm.
convert that file to JSON file and send back to me. So we have
Mm-hmm.
created a workflow where as soon as I send a request to them, they will I will get a response as a request ID from that
Mm-hmm.
API. Okay, so
Okay.
that
Okay.
request ID I will save in my database first.
Mm-hmm.
Request ID, and the file name and date and everything details. Okay,
Okay.
and as soon as I'll get a response, like
Mm-hmm.
they will after some time they will give the JSON file into an S3 bucket they'll upload. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
from there I will download. So one more job will be running continuously checking that file whether
To
coming
check
or not.
that, yeah.
So
Okay.
as soon as
Mm-hmm.
I'll get the file, no, I'll download and update in the same workflow database table saying it is
Mm-hmm.
JSON conversion, JSON downloaded. After that
Mm-hmm.
JSON I will convert it into XML file. So I will
Mm-hmm.
update in the same workflow database saying workflow has been conversion success. So as soon as
Mm-hmm.
some conversion success, no, one trigger will happen in that database. It will
Mm.
call another script and it will ingest a file. So
Okay.
there will be multiple records for that same request ID. Will be creating all those records like first step is
Mhm.
done, second step is
Mhm.
done. So that's what the workflow we have designed like few years back.
Mhm.
So this is what you are asking workflow or
Yeah, not really. That is kind of a workflow. Okay,
okay.
suppose, let me say, I mean, what I was expecting. I mean, if there is a possible way that you deposit a check in bank, so you will have a multiple approvals, let's say
Okay, okay,
manager's
okay, okay,
approval and
okay,
then
okay.
supervisor's approval, something like that workflow. Anyways, that is if you haven't worked on it, then it's not this one. So any one last question, any experience with OAuth, this one,
Yeah, JWT token we used to use.
JWT token? Yeah.
The same
Okay.
project I was telling you, like last we are sending files to an API, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll call a method which is authentication method, which we will send as a JWT token. I used to save that
Mm-hmm.
JWT token in a local drive text file, and for the
Mm-hmm.
request I used to use that token. I used to send the request, and the expiry time will be 5 minutes, suppose. Then
Okay.
before 5 minutes only, I'll check the last write time of the file. Another
Mm-hmm.
thread parallel will be running. It will keep on checking the last runtime created time of that file.
Mm-hmm.
If it is greater than
Mm-hmm.
4 minutes, then I'll regenerate that.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Great, great, great. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's it from my end, Srikanth. So, I don't have anything else to ask you. If you have anything to know from EG or anything like that, it is open for you. So, if there is no questions, we can wind up.
Yeah, like easy. We have to work on like hybrid model or like regular.
This is not hybrid for 6 months or when during the probation or something like that. Then you, based on your requirement, you may get max 2 days of work from home. Other than that, 3 days you're supposed to come to office. Because if it is a mid developer, others are fine. If it is senior developer, we may need your help. I mean, while we're working on application or something. So,
Okay.
yeah, that is what the current situation is.
Then what are the like projects like how?
Currently, you are giving the interview. You might know it is Healthcare Norway, but we have a dedicated team who are working in this. But the application is kind of legacy, but we are
Okay.
trying to migrate it to the latest applications or the microservices, microservice architecture. So we need few hands-on experienced people to work with us. So we have an existing team there working on a legacy system, but the new team has yet to be formed and. They are still working on it, so that is the reason. That is kind of work here going on actually.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
That is a web application, right?
yeah, it's totally a web application and Blazor application.
Okay, it's a Blazor
Yeah,
application.
Blazor application. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Any other
No,
things you
no,
would like to know, Shrikant? Yeah.
no, no
So
question.
I think if there is nothing, I will talk to HR and give the feedback of
Yeah,
the interview.
yeah,
So let them get back to you with the
yeah.
results. Okay.
Okay,
So
thank you.
until then, have a very good day. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
thank you. Bye bye.